it's Eara. How are you doing today? If you have not yet subscribed to this channel and you like this channel, please feel free to subscribe. Don't you forget before you leave, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And yeah, welcome to my channel. And today I wanted to talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, about homelessness. Now, God put this on my heart to speak about homelessness. I've been literally just all night I've been just like watching movies and doing my nails and just doing different things, and then like I woke up I didn't sleep yet, but I just like basically finished doing my feet, and then I was like, oh my God, I need to talk about this, like this homeless situation, because it was like, okay, so I was doing my feet and I realized like I haven't like done my feet in so long, and my feet were looking so horrible, like crusty. And I was like, oh my God, I've been so like down and out that I didn't get to focus on my feet. I never got to focus on my nails. I was so busy trying to focus on other things, on trying to survive, that I forgot my actual body and all of this, and praying, and just a war zone. Literally, this is like literally World War III. Like, I rebuke it, but it's literally what's happening, like between the voices I was hearing in my head, and just like basically removing this person out of my mind, and just like working on the tension in my body. All those things like led me to like completely like leave everything and just be homeless and just handle and take care of my body first, because I was working, and I was working as a dancer before I became like completely like on the street. And I was a dancer in Vegas. And so I don't know if I've spoken about this before, but anyways, I stopped. Okay, start this over. Okay, I was working. Okay, before I became a dancer and all this and became on the street, I was working for different companies. Like, I was working for Armani Exchange. I was a sales associate for Armani Exchange. I've worked for Century 21 in New York City, and Armani was in New York City as well. I've worked for some restaurants in New York City. I've worked as a waitress in Houston, Texas. I worked as I don't know if I've worked as like a Santa Claus's helper here in California, and I think that's the only like actual job I've had here in California. Because when you come to California, you can actually do what is it called, audience work, and then make money where you can be free. You can go when you want, make your own schedule and things like that. So since I finished high school and here in California, I went to Hollywood High School. And when I finished Hollywood High School, I didn't graduate from high school, and I'll tell you the story of why, but that's deep. But once I finished with high school and I couldn't do that anymore, I started being I became pregnant, had a baby, blah blah blah. But I started doing audience work. And so in California, I never really had like one of those like jobs like where like you sign papers and you pay taxes and all these things. So you can do like audience work. If you ever come to California, that's another thing, that people that come here to try to follow their dreams, you get to be an audience member in different places. A lot of people think that you can it's all free. Like, it's free to be an audience member, but you can also, if you come to California, you can actually get paid to be an audience member, because they're always looking for audience members. So that's a gig that a lot of people in California, a lot of soon to be celebrities or people that are in the acting business. It's extremely hard to try to be in the acting business, singing business, whatever entertainment business. Is extremely hard to survive. So it's like your dreams or nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like you have to give up everything just to follow your dreams. So a lot of people rely on these gigs, on these audience work, movie extras, and that's how they pay their bills. Literally, my sister did it. But anyways, so I stopped doing all of those things. I kept traveling, tried to see which state do I really want to live in, which state do I want to like, I felt passion for New York, I felt passion for Miami, I felt, different places like that. I never really had a legit job in Miami. I just was like homeless in Miami and just like hanging out there. So I just wanted to go to see these places. I didn't want to wait for money, and I didn't want to save money and go to these places and rely on money just to enjoy the city alone. So I decided to just like forget about trying to save up the money and just go. And that was my thing. But the reason why I quit my jobs, another reason why I didn't continue trying to look for jobs, is because First of all, I didn't like I wasn't getting paid. The fact that I don't have a lot of people have degrees and high school diplomas and still cannot get jobs, or some are even on the street. But the fact that I didn't have all those things, I couldn't really, I didn't really qualify for many, for like the big time jobs. So I had to work either as a sales associate and blah blah blah. And some of those jobs, like, they require extra hours, like, and they don't pay you that much. Like, $11 is good, when you come from someone that's been paying like, when you come from someone that's been getting paid like $7 an hour or whatever. And that was like my first job. I was literally getting paid like $7 an hour, and the minimum wage went up. So basically like it was just too many hours. I was putting in too much time, especially working for Forever 21. I was putting way too much time. I was working too hard. It was never enough rent. I was paying rent in New York City. For a room, I was paying like $600 or something for a room in New York, in the hood. At least that hood wasn't that bad, you know what I mean? But it was still like I was paying that, and then on top of that, I was like going through so much. Like, people don't understand, like, when you come from, like, when you grow up, when you're a kid, you go through some kids go through these traumas and these, they go through situations at home and at school, and they never deal with these situations. And as they become adults, these situations become problems if they don't deal with these problems, you know what I mean? And so for me, that's how it felt. Like, I was not dealing with myself. I was not dealing with my problems. I was just going to work, coming home, drinking, hanging out with friends, having a boyfriend, and it was never me time. It's always thinking about someone else. It's always, when I lay in my bed, I had to think about my work, and then I had to think about this boy I like, or this boy that I'm dating, or then I'm like, my friends, my roommates are knocking on my door. They want to party all day, all night long. It's like, when you don't have your own place and you have to pay for $600 for a room or whatever, you still have to, like, living in New York City. That's basically everybody's. If you're not rich, everybody's basically rooming up. You know what I mean? And so it's like you have to, like, we lived in, when I was in New York, we lived in this big 3-bedroom apartment, and I had like 4 roommates, some shared rooms, and I had my own room. And so my roommates would party all night long, and it was like literally like, oh my God, I had to get up to work at 7 in the morning. At 5 in the morning, I had to be ready. I had to get up and be ready and be at work like around 7, by 7 or by 5. Like, so it was like they were partying all night, never got sleep. So it was just like, and then like, so I got fired from that job because I was not like showing up on time. I was not sleeping well. I was coming back home, people partying, so I'm tempted to drink and party as well. And so it just became like so much. Like, life just became like this thing where I was not focused on who am I, what is my dream, what is my purpose on work, in life. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like I needed to get deeper into my purpose. So eventually from that job, I ended up, trying to work for a restaurant, and the manager, was really mean. Like, the goal was being, okay, there was a, when I got hired for at this restaurant in New York City, I got hired, and I remember when I used to work for Burger King in Jolly Rockets in Houston, Texas, the manager was really good. Her name is Lucy, and I give her a shout out. She was an amazing Spanish manager, and they always taught me, when you're working on the register, it's assigned to your name. Most places, you have your register is assigned to your name, so you're responsible for the money in that register. So it's like, if you let anybody in that register, they can steal. If they steal from you, they're gonna blame you, and you're gonna have to pay that money back, or you're going to have to get fired for that money, or whatever happens. So you have to be, they always told me, you have to be careful to not let anyone in your register, not let no one touch it. Always do your own orders, or whatever is going on. Do not let no one in your cash register. So when I worked for this job, it was like, when I got hired at this job, there was this one Spanish girl that came up to me, this job in New York City, and she was like, oh, trying to get in my register. And I was like, what are you doing? She was like, oh, trust me, I'm good. She was telling me to trust her. It was like my second day on the job. And I was looking at her like, you cannot get in my register. And she was like, no, we all work on this register. And I was like, no. So I told the manager, I went back there and I was like, this is not how it's going to work. And so I went to the manager and I told her, told the manager, like, look, she was trying to work on my register, and I guess that's how they work things there. They seemed like it wasn't a big problem. So they transferred me to a different unit in that job. Like basically they transferred me to answering phones instead of working on the register. So they sort of like, it just made me nervous, and it was just like really busy. So I was new and I was just like still like learning, and I was like, you know what, like, so they transferred me, but it was like I couldn't work. Like, you cannot work in a place where people are going to try to bully you or you gotta be careful. People are going to always do that, but you always gotta be careful. But the managers or those people don't have your back or don't understand that you have to protect your cash if your name is assigned to a certain register. And you are the one that's supposed to be on that register, and they're watching you, and someone comes on that register and tries to work the same way, they're going to try to trick you. So if the managers are not complaining or having a problem with that, then maybe they're scums too. Maybe they're the type of people that are trying to, snip you up too. So you got to like be like, no. So anyways, that job ended up not working out because I answered the phone at the wrong time. Like, basically I was being trained to answer phones, and then when they were telling me, oh, answer this phone, they were telling me, oh, I can answer phone. So I answered a phone to an actual employee. Not employee, to an actual customer. And the manager, the actual owner of the restaurant, I guess, came in. And I guess I wasn't supposed, the girl that was training me didn't tell me not to answer phones yet. So I was thinking I could answer the phone. So when I answered it, the owner had came in and he was like, what are you doing? Why are you answering the phone right now? I was like, she told me she told me I could answer phones. She didn't tell me I couldn't answer phones or anything. And he was like, get out. He yelled at me like I was like some dog on the street, literally. I was like, what? He was like, how could you do that? That is an important, every customer is important, and blah, 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 blah. Yelling at me, and I was brand new in the job, and I was like, it was not my fault at all. And I left and I cried and I prayed and I asked God to give me, and that's when like a week later I got hired at Armani Exchange, and that was like the best job I ever had. Like it was great because I was getting paid more, like at least like probably $11 an hour, which was more than I had been getting paid before. And so basically like I was getting paid that, and then Armani was basically because I was so used to working in the restaurant business that I was used to doing hardcore work. But working for Armani, it was like working at home. It was like folding clothes and greeting customers, and that was just basically my thing. And all the like young employees that were there, they were like, oh my God, this is so hard. And I was like, what? This is the easiest job ever. Like, how could you even say that it's hard? And so basically, but the manager that was the manager of the store manager, not the one that hired me, but the store manager was like rude in the beginning. She was like, oh, because I was dancing, like, I was thinking in my head, like, every time I dance, I know that people come. I know my power. I know how to attract people and bring people in. So every time I dance or act, energetic, it attracts people. When people see you energetic and doing like extreme things, people want to come in and see what are you doing or what's going on. That's when you're working in a mall or something like that. So I did that and it worked, and people were coming in because it was super slow. But I had never worked in retail before, so I didn't know I was supposed to be like folding or pretending like I'm folding all freaking day long. So I got in trouble for that. And she was like, what are you doing? Have you not ever worked for in retail before? And I was like, what? And she was like, go and fold. We got a lot of work to do. To me, the way it looked like everything was done. But basically, they want everything crispy, clean, like crispy, folded. It was crazy. So she was not nice in the beginning, but in the end, like, we ended up being cool. What I didn't like about that was that she wasn't like gentle with me in the beginning, but I could understand how some people could be. I could understand how I don't know if I could be like that. Maybe I would have, because some people expect you to be a certain way, especially at big companies like that. So I guess I can understand, but I still don't think she should have been like really mean. But she apologized in the end, and so I felt comfortable with that. But anyways, I only get 15 minutes to this, so I'm gonna continue this to a second video. So watch part 2 of this, and this is basically going to tell you like how I'm basically going to continue telling you how I just stopped working for people. Like I stopped literally trying to work in like businesses, and just I was too emotionally involved. I was too sensitive. So yeah, anyways, watch the next video. See you guys soon.